Right, this video is part 2 of me supercharging my bobber. Part 1 was just the unboxing, but these videos I'm going to show you my journey with the TTS Supercharger kit, and I'm going to show you how easy or hard it is to install, what I'm doing to install it. I'm going to let you know why I'm doing it and what I hope to achieve from it, and what the future holds for the bike, the bobber vlog and boost. So in this video I'm going to show you the kit that comes from TTS Superchargers, and I'm going to let you know why I'm doing all this. These are going to be very comprehensive videos, and I'm going to go into a lot of detail, and there's going to be a lot of them. So there is going to be a lot of content about this modification. So this is my journey. I will be making mistakes, I will be things up, and I will be learning a lot. And because I'm learning a lot, I'm going to teach you guys what I learn, and hopefully show you some different ways of thinking along the way too. When I was 6 years old, I had a little red push bike with stabilizers on it. And when I was 6 years old, I also had a thought. And that thought is something I've always had for my whole life and continue to keep having. That thought was, I bet I can do that. So I went into the house and I got myself a shifter, adjustable spanner to everyone else in the world apart from Australia. And I set about taking the stabilizers off that bike. And I took them off and I rode it. And I still have that shifter today, an adjustable spanner. One of the very few things my old man left when he buggered off when I was 6. So I'm somebody who can't leave things alone. I'm a natural mechanic. I have to know how things work, and I have to modify things and develop things to make them better, including my life. So I love the development and the art of vehicles, bikes and cars especially. And I always have to have a modified vehicle. I used to get taken to cruise nights at Southend when I was a kid, and I used to love all the custom cars, especially the Beetles. And I did actually get into Volkswagen Beetles for most of my life. I still am now. And I was drag racing them as well. So drag racing is something which is also in my blood. So making the bobber go faster is high on a list of priorities for me. People who are into Triumph bobbers love bolt-on goodies. They love personalising their bikes. They're not so much full-on custom bikes, but modified bikes to suit the rider's personality, and that's a lot of the fun of the Triumph bobber. So me being into drag racing and stuff, my personality is really starting to show with this bike now. That's why I've decided to bolt one of these fellas on it. It's a Rotrex C15 Supercharger, which TTS do as a complete kit to fit on the bike. And to get this little guy onto the bike, there's also a lot of other stuff you have to do. But I'm going to show you all that and tell you why you do it and how it all works and things like that. And this is one of the ultimate bolt-on goodies, and it is bolt-on performance. You can actually bolt this on in the stage 1, which is what I'm going to do first, without actually modifying the engine internals. And also I've got a smaller pulley for it, and when I use that I can potentially make 170 horsepower from this originally 75 horsepower engine. So to do that I'm going to have to put low compression forged pistons in, which I have and I am going to do. But I'm going to go through the stage 1 and everything else first. So you're going to get to see how easy or difficult this is to install and get working properly. But like most things, it's not rocket science. And you can do anything you put your mind to, really. So in these videos and in my whole channel, I like people to see that you can actually do things yourself if you start thinking outside the box. So I also need to be tuning the ECU to get this to work properly, so the fueling's right and the timing's right, so nothing gets damaged and it runs right. So also I'm trying to get my head around tuning the ECU. I've worked with turbos and fuel injection for many years, but I worked for a main agent, so I was very limited to what I could do, because they don't like you messing about with stuff, so they don't give you all that much information or the tools to be able to do that. And using Tune ECU, I'm showing you my journey with that, and I'm learning that along the way, which is not easy because it's one of those things where there's not a lot of information out there because it's very secret squirrel. People like to keep this information to themselves. But I'm going to show you everything I learn. So you may not see me doing things right, especially with Tune ECU and stuff like that. I do actually have access to a dyno. We are going to be going on a dyno with it, but a lot of the time I'm going to be tuning it on the street, especially to get it in its base state of tune, and then I'll fine tune it on the dyno. So if you follow Thornton 100 motorcycles, you probably would have seen this setup before on the world's fastest bobber when it first emerged. It's got a little bit further than that now, but it's still a very similar supercharged setup like this, but way more expensive and way more powerful. So with this one, I'm hoping to get around 130 horsepower to start with, and then we're going to start developing it and getting it up to 170 horsepower. I was going to put the bobber motor back in it with the 10:1 compression, but I have been told that the stage 1 works on the thruster motor with 11:1 compression, which is what this is in the bike now. So that's what we're going to do. Also, I need to replace the clutch springs to make the clutch a little bit more stronger so it's less likely to slip, and I've got to put bigger injectors in to cope with the extra fuel it's going to need when it's under boost. But you're going to see videos about that very shortly and how I get on with that. I've made a big investment in doing this, but it's going to bring you guys much more content and hopefully really help the bobber vlog evolve. I've gone ahead and paid for this and bought this without actually looking into the legalities of it in this country or how much the insurance on the bike is going to cost me once it's on. But I'm an entrepreneur, and the definition of an entrepreneur is somebody who jumps out of a plane with no parachute and builds a plane on the way down. I'm probably going to have to get the bike engineered when I get it on. I am going to run into a few problems. I know one straight away to start with, and that's the blow-off valve, the dump valve. The one I've got with the kit actually vents to open air, and I'm pretty sure you can't do that in this country. So I'm going to have to get another blow-off valve or find another way around that. And if it does all go to shit and I can't have this on the road, then I'll find myself a written off bobber and build a complete drag bike with standalone ECUs and things like that, which will be great content. But it's not going to come to that because I have seen bikes with turbos on that have been engineered around here, and the benchmark's not very high. And this kit is absolutely beautiful and fits well and is very high quality, and I'm sure it'll get through engineering, no worries. So what do you get in the kit? Of course, you get a supercharger and you get an intercooler. You get an oil cooler and all the fittings and bits and pieces, so the supercharger has its own oil supply. You get the casings to go on the engine and all the belt drive stuff. You get all the pipework and boost hoses. You get upgraded clutch springs, and you get a plenum chamber. You also get 500cc injectors that replace the old 460cc ones. You get a blow-off valve. You get gaskets and hardware. You get lots of nuts and bolts. And of course you get the instructions. So you pretty much get everything you need to get this bolted on the bike and running. Apart from the map for the ECU, but you just get in contact with TTS and they'll sort you out with that. It's actually only a base map, and it is very, very advisable to get it on a dyno and mapped properly so that you don't cause damage such as detonation to the engine, which can be catastrophic. So this is a new casing which you get to replace your old alternator casing. It's just a case of putting the alternator windings in a new one and bolting all this on, which has got the belt drive on it, what the supercharger goes to. It's a beautifully machined piece of billet aluminium, CNC machined. It has actually still got some of the machining marks in it, which apparently people like, but I'm going to polish them out and I'm going to have a video and I'm going to show you how I do that. It's a really good looking piece of aluminium. And of course the intercooler and plenum chamber are really nice bits of kit as well, and they're going to look really cool on the bike. So what I'm going to be doing first is I'll show you how to put the clutch springs in, and I'll be changing the injectors because I want to get the injectors running and closely dialed in on the bike before I actually start adding boost to it. So there'll be the next couple of videos, I reckon. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an overview as to what the kit is, and now the fun stuff starts, the exciting stuff. It's going to get stuck onto the bike and I'm going to show you everything about doing that. So stay tuned. And don't forget to like and comment. Tell me what you reckon. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And of course, have a great day.